All right, I'm going to tell you about one of the biggest financial scams in the finance world. But first, why should you listen to me? My name's Brennan. I'm an airline pilot, high income professional that went to school, got in a whole bunch of student debt. It forced me to become an expert in personal finance, specifically my own personal finances. And I'm sharing the tips and tricks that I learned that I found helpful. If you find it interesting, feel free to watch more videos. If not, carry on. So, what I want to talk about today is life insurance. So whole life insurance versus term life insurance. Whole life insurance is the scam here. So I'm going to get to the point. That's what I'm talking about. And I say that because it's pitched as something that it's not really the best use case for. So what I mean by that even further is life insurance is pitched as this investment vehicle that is tax-free growth that you can take out loans against and not pay taxes on them, and you're going to build wealth over time. Meanwhile, you're protecting your family and doing the responsible thing. And there's the problem with it is there's hints of truth in those statements, when in reality, there's a better option. So let's get into what whole life insurance is. It's you pay a premium, you pay a monthly payment, and you get a guaranteed amount and you get a cash balance over time. Now, as that grows, you can take out a loan against that and you can cover life expenses or emergencies, things like that. When in reality, that may not be the correct thing to do. And I'll tell you why, because the average person that's looking for life insurance is not looking for an investment vehicle. They're looking to take care of the people that they care about if something terrible were to happen to them. And there's a better option for that. With whole life insurance, you're going to be paying a higher amount per month because of those other things that they're throwing in there, because of the other services that it provides. So in other words, the amount that you're going to be insured for is going to be much less based on what you can afford, because you're going to be paying fees. There's usually some snake oil salesman life insurance agent that's trying to sell you this so they can get a commission, not necessarily for your best interest. And so be skeptical of that. There's going to be a big document. Anytime there's a huge document where you need a lawyer to understand everything you're getting yourself into, there's probably a better option until you get to the point where you yourself can afford the lawyer to create those documents or to check things. This might be somebody trying to take advantage of you. It's going to cost more. You're going to be covered for less. And it's really not that useful to be able to take loans out against your life insurance policy until you're in a place where there's some added benefits to that. Now, I'm not saying for everybody, it's not the right option. There actually are some use cases for the ultra high net worth individuals that want to, uh, they want to take advantage of some of the tax benefits. Now, these people are not worried about maxing out their Roth IRA or contributing to an HSA account because they've made it their ultra high net worth. What they're worried about is succession planning. They've got millions of dollars in assets that they need to pass down to their kids. And what happens if they die? Their kids inherit these assets, and then now there's a huge tax bill that they aren't liquid enough to be able to afford. Well, if you have a whole life insurance policy that is however much you want to be approved for, you can use it for liquidity in those cases. More than if you can only gift your kids a certain amount of money over their lifetime tax free. I think it's $15 million per parent. So $30 million in total, you can just gift your kids tax free. So now this is the type of level we're talking about. Now, if you get this life insurance policy, this can help with estate planning and succession planning. Business owners of big companies will use this. If a CEO dies and they need to stabilize the company, there can be a huge windfall of tax-free cash that can help stabilize things. There's also called private placement life insurance, where usually the minimum premium is like $1 million or $2 million. And these people are able to take advantage of some of that tax-free growth, and then they can take a loan against it and invest that in something that's going to be giving them a better return than what they're paying on the interest on. So there are use cases for it, but the problem is it's being sold to the average person as this one size fits all. This is what you need for your family and the average middle class person that's working hard. When in reality, there's a better option. So that's what I want to talk about: term life insurance. This is probably going to be the best case for most people that are watching this video, myself included, especially if you are the primary provider for your family. So what term life insurance says is it gives you a term, whether that's 1, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and it's going to be a much lower premium because all it says is you pay a premium every single month. There's nothing else included except for if you were to not be here anymore, then your beneficiary would get that policy. So they would get that amount. Now, it's recommended 10 to 15 times your gross income is what your policy should be. So $150,000 a year, maybe uh, $1.5 million. So for me, this is actually somewhere near where I fall. I make close to $200,000. I have a policy with my work, and so then to cover the rest of it, I have a term life insurance policy. I pay $43 a month, and I get $1.5 million if something were to happen. So much more affordable that way to get that amount of coverage than if I were to do a whole life insurance policy and think of it as this investment property that's going to make me rich, or this investment vehicle that's going to make me rich. It's not the case. I'm going to be paying way more a month for that same benefit. So there's definitely some decisions you need to make really carefully and understand what you're getting yourself into. Now, with the term life insurance, it's going to be going to your selected beneficiary. For me, it's my wife, whoever it might be for you. And if, God forbid, something were to happen to both of you, you can put somebody else on there. And one thing to watch out for is if you put that for your kid, they're not going to be able to get access to that until they're 18 years old, which takes away some of the reason you might want it, because you want to take care of the people you love, especially your kids up until when they're 18. So those are a few things to watch out and be careful for. I would say get that term life insurance in place. I don't have anywhere to sell you. I went to Policy Genius was the brand I went. It was a short phone call. I told them exactly what I want because it's helpful to understand some of this stuff to know, because I don't know. I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I went on that phone call. So if I was asking questions and this and that, who knows? Maybe I would have been sold this whole life insurance product. So if you didn't know any of this and you're finding some value, please like the video and comment if you're going to get life insurance and if you agree or disagree with me. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. So those are my 2 cents. If you were to ever consider something like that, if your net worth does start getting high, make sure you're taking care of a lot of the basic stuff first. There's so many other things you could prioritize to build wealth than life insurance. For example, maxing out your Roth IRA, your HSA, contributing to a 529 plan, contributing to a Trump account, setting up buying a rental property, or paying down your mortgage, things like that. I would honestly put over having something like a life insurance policy, which doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Now, if your net worth is over $1 million or you're a high net worth individual, don't listen to me. Do your thing. You figured it out already. But this is just for somebody who's heard some of these terms and is honestly putting off doing anything because they don't want to make the wrong decision. This is some of the guidance that I received and what I found helpful. So if you found it helpful, please subscribe. I also have a free finance community where I go through stuff like this all the time. I post in there. I reply to people. I talk with you guys on a regular basis. I do what's called a millionaire coffee hour. My buddy Justin, he's got a bunch of rental properties. I think it's like 50 now. It used to be more. He's consolidating. High net worth individual. We talk about real estate investing. There's mentorship in there. I'll get on a strategy call with you and take a look at your situation and give you some recommendations on exactly what I would do if I were you, whether that's paying down high interest debt or consolidating your loans, or what credit card to pay off, if you should or not. Is it okay to have a credit card? How do you set up a retirement account for your kids? When should you do that? A lot of these questions that I had, more than happy to help out in any way I can. So if you want, the links to the description is going to be in that, and I'll see you in the next video. See you.